Hey guys, it's Marie Antoinette, Soul Specialist here for your Mental Health Monday. And I'm not sure if you guys can read the description there. I'm pretty sure I added it. We're going to be talking about unconditional love, self-esteem, loving ourselves and all that kind of stuff. And I know there's some preconceived notions around loving ourselves and all that kind of stuff. And a lot of us get told, hey Rama, I'm glad you jumped on. A lot of us get told things about loving ourselves to improve our self-esteem, but they don't tell us how to do that. They just keep saying, you've got to love yourself. It's important to love yourself. So I'm going to be talking about the difference between loving yourself. Hey Chris, I'm glad you've jumped on. And Monique. Say hi guys if you want to, and if you want to ask any questions in relation to the topic tonight, I'm happy to interact with you guys. So I'm going to be talking about unconditional love, and the reason I'm talking about that is most people know that I work with a lot of cosmic energies, and so I'm very in tune with what's happening and the light codes that are happening with our planet. So there's a lot of unconditional love energies being anchored. It has been going on for some time, but more so lately. So unconditional love is an energy that we haven't known fully as a collective on this planet before. So some of us practice it and we know what unconditional love is, but it predominantly in society isn't something that we practice. In fact, subconsciously, a lot of the way that we love ourselves and others is very conditional. It's very much about if I achieve this, or once I get this, then I'll love myself. If I get the perfect body, or if I make this amount of money, then I'll be happy, or I'll love myself. And a lot of the times we don't love ourselves unconditionally. So what that means is it doesn't mean that we go around behaving in certain ways and say to ourselves, oh, I'm just going to love myself and it doesn't matter. It's not about making excuses or making excuses for other people when we're looking at unconditionally loving others. It's not about that at all. It's about loving ourselves despite our flaws. So later on in this video, I'm going to give you some tips around how you can actively start doing that in your life on a daily basis. But I want to talk about unconditionally loving ourselves and what that really means. So unconditionally loving ourselves means that we stop reaching out outside of ourselves to make ourselves happy or to fulfill something within us. Now, a lot of us may be independent and we feel like, well, no, I don't really need that from others and I'm okay. But we do it very, very finitely. We can do it in many, many ways. And it can be with expectations that we have of others. Like, you know, if other people behave badly, then that reflects on us. Or we may take things personally, and our self-esteem gets eroded in that way when we take things personally. Other people's behaviour is never, ever about us. It's never about anything that we've done. It's not about blame, it's about responsibility. So taking personal responsibility is something that's also going to raise self-esteem. Hey Mel, I'm glad you've jumped on, and Jaren and Greg. If you guys want to ask questions, please do so. So I'm going to be talking about some of the tips that we can do when we unconditionally love. So again, I want to stress, because a lot of people have asked me, so what if people are abusive towards you? What if people are behaving really badly towards you? Does that mean you continue to love them unconditionally? And my answer is yes, but with a precursor. So the precursor is that you put up boundaries and you do not tolerate, you know, that kind of abusive behavior, but unconditionally loving them means that you forgive them in the process. So it means that that's not okay, but I'm going to still love you because I'm going to forgive your behavior. It doesn't mean you keep putting yourself in the firing line of such behavior, but you can still practice unconditional love. So the essence of unconditional love is actually going outwards and also towards yourself as well. And by doing that and setting boundaries, you're unconditionally loving yourself as well. So unconditional love, how do you do that with yourself when, you know, there's so many things you may want to change about yourself, or there's some things that you want to do? So I've got a thing that I call the even though method. So the even though method might look like this. So you might actually be looking at yourself in the mirror, or it could be you reflecting on yourself about your life. And you might have a thought like, I am not in the body shape that I really like. So you might call yourself fat, or you might say, oh, just, you know, whatever. So when you catch yourself doing that, you can say, even though I'm fat or overweight, I'm still going to love myself. You might give yourself a hard time because you're not where you're at, where you want to be financially, or you haven't really been striving towards your goals, and you might notice that. And that's okay, that might be true. But it doesn't mean that you need to judge it. You can notice it, and you can go, even though I'm not where I want to be, I'm still going to love myself. Hey Charlene, glad you've said hi. So it's like the even though method. So if you notice how you're thinking about these things about yourself, you can just go, even though, because we fall into the trap. I mean, I do too. Like, we need to be aware. We fall into the trap of feeling like we're going to be happy when we get somewhere, or we get something, when we achieve something, and we lose that happiness in the process of getting towards where we want to go. And so it builds our self-esteem as well. So the other tips I have is attitude of gratitude. I always talk about this, like developing the attitude of gratitude helps with so many things. When we're grateful for what's happening in our lives, it expands. It's the law of focus, spiritual law of focus. What we focus on expands, and when we're grateful for something, it just brings more in. And so if we can be grateful for the things that we do feel good about ourselves, and you can, like when you use the even though method, it comes into play as well, because when you are noticing something about yourself and you go, well, okay, even though I haven't got to where I'm going, I'm going to love myself. Even though this is happening, I'm going to love myself. So you're still practicing that attitude of gratitude. Thanks for your comment, Charlene. So the other thing is, and I did speak about this briefly, was taking responsibility for all of our emotions and all of our experiences. And it might sound, hang on a minute, am I really responsible for everything? Yes, I'm sorry, you are responsible for everything. So, you know, not blaming other people for how you feel, not blaming for people for situations. Again, this ties into unconditional love for others and unconditional love to yourself. If you're taking personal responsibility for how you feel, you get to choose your reaction. There's a lot of power in that. You know, it's personal power. It's like, hey, it doesn't matter what happens to me, I'm going to choose. I've got a choice in how I'm going to respond to that, or how I'm going to feel about that. Nobody has the power to change the way, or to create the feelings in you. You're the one creating them. So the other one is keeping a journal. I'm always going on about journals if you guys have been watching. And being reflective in this on how you're talking to yourself. Noticing what you're focusing on in your life. If you're not focusing on where you're going or what you want in your life, and you're focusing on, it's not just about negative or positive. I'm really against this whole, just be positive and you will love yourself, because it doesn't work that way. Affirmations by themselves don't work that way either. It's got a lot to do with how what we believe about ourselves and what we're reflecting to the outer world and back in. So, keeping a journal, just being reflective on what's that relationship with yourself like? How are you being towards yourself? So the other thing is also releasing all expectations of others. Now that's a hard one, because we do want to hold other people responsible, and I was talking about personal responsibility before. But if we're expecting people to, you know, there's people that say to me sometimes, but, you know, my husband should be there for me, or my friend should be supportive of me, or this should happen. And you know what, realistically, nothing should be, because people are human. People are going to let us down in certain situations because they're not perfect. You know, people shouldn't be doing anything for us. It's actually us being able to give ourselves what we need. It's not about being needless or wantless, but being able to find that balance between giving ourselves what we need. So often, and I'm not going to go on for too much longer because this video is turning into a big one, but often we may want connection, for example, with other people. And what I've said to others is everything is a reflection of what's happening in your own life. How are you disconnected in your own life? If you're disconnected in your own life, and if you improve the connection that you have with yourself, you will notice without wanting, without trying to talk to somebody else about changing, that you'll start to have connection with others, with the so-called people that you believe are disconnected. When you connect with yourself, they'll connect with you, and you'll see that that connection starts to flow through your experience. So, I haven't had any questions down there, but that's okay. If you have any questions, you can private message me. I've got some exciting things coming up soon also. I'm going to be posting up some events, so have a look at those. If you haven't liked my business page, which is Marie Antoinette Official, please go over and like it. And if any of you are watching or watch this video who've given me a review on Creative Healing page, can you go over and write a review on that one? Or just copy and paste, because Facebook would not let me merge my new business page, so I've had to make a new one. So if you can do that, that'd be awesome. If you want to join my newsletter, please just send me a message with your email. In that newsletter, you get updates on things that are coming up ahead of time, so you can book them. There's a Aboriginal Women's Retreat coming up in a couple of months. That's in the planning stages. There is a Cosmic Q&A online event that's coming up. There's a Family Constellations workshop that's coming up. And what else is happening? Oh, and there'll be some news coming up around... I'm going to be doing some comedy coaching for professional people who wish to add some humour into their public speaking or into their work. So that's exciting too. I like wearing lots of different hats, in case you haven't noticed, so I like to keep up with my comedy stuff too. And I'm doing a show. When am I doing a show? 20th of April at the Creative Spirit Centre comedy show and dinner. So if you want to keep up to date with anything, you go onto my business page, this page. Anyway, it's all happening. Hopefully you guys have got some benefits from this video. If you did, please share it. I'd like to get this work out to everybody. If you want to know anything about my programs that I'm running, please private message me also. And happy Mental Health Monday. See you guys. Bye.